Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live, everyone. A tough day for President Biden, whose approval rating has edged down yet again to its lowest point, according to new polling from CBS and ABC. Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman is here to break this all down for us. Rick, what is going on here?
This latest poll by CBS shows Biden's approval rating at 42%. That's about what we've seen in other polls. They had him higher at the beginning of his presidency than some of the other polls. So they have him falling from a high of 65% shortly after he took office to around 42%. So more than 20 points down. And not surprising, we know why people are not approving of President Biden. It's all about inflation and it's all about gas prices. People think the economy is not doing well. They realize that some parts of the economy are doing pretty well, especially the job market, but inflation kind of blots that out. So inflation is the big story in the economy, without a doubt, and it is going to define what happens in President Biden's at least the second year of his presidency and maybe his entire presidency.
You know, it's particularly interesting, Rick, because we hear not just from the White House about inflation, also, of course, the Fed about inflation and some of their own targets as well, which the Fed is clearly paying attention to what the consumer perception of them is and their response to inflation. But it seems from the poll, at least the results have suggested that the population is continuing to place more of the onus on the White House and the president in this instance.
You know, I think the general population should watch Yahoo Finance a lot more. Because they'd have a better understanding of some of these issues. But such as things are, look, when the economy goes south or part of the economy goes south, people blame the president. They just blame the person in charge. And much of our audience knows that Biden really doesn't have all that much to do with inflation. Yes, possibly that big relief bill from a year ago had something to do with it. But it has probably more to do with kinked up supply chains and weird shifts in demand and shortages of products and things like that. So people are busy. They don't, read economic textbooks to understand all these linkages. And when inflation is as high as it is right now, just about at 8%, possibly higher when we see the numbers tomorrow, they just blame the guy in charge. And that's bad news for Biden.
Hey, man, coach gets the blame when the team loses. That's the drill, right? What can the president do to turn this around in the short term? Because the midterms look bloody for Democrats. You mentioned that there's not a lot he can do about the inflation number. Is there anything he can do to try to sell the economic achievements of the administration?
I think that's risky because if he talks up how strong the job market is, I mean, he's right that it is a strong job market, but then people think he's not paying attention to their pain. So he has to acknowledge inflation, and then he steps on his own message. I did notice we have U.S. oil prices back under $100 to some extent. If they stay there, that is the oil market kind of sorting itself out. We are seeing more production come online. It's not coming online as fast as Biden or drivers would like to see, but I think we're going to see gas prices ticking down at least a little bit. So I think the numbers tomorrow are going to be pretty scary. But it's possible that we might be close to a peak on inflation with the picture getting a little bit better for the rest of the year. Will it get better by enough to help Democrats in November? That's probably doubtful, but it'll moderate at some point.
Certainly risky business indeed. Thank you for breaking that down for us. Yahoo Finance's own Rick Newman. All right, do stay with us. Much more ahead on the other side of this break on Yahoo Finance Live.